Breaking news. Frankie from Flatbush, FSPN. The New York Jets have made several roster moves, none of them good. Linebackers Quincy Williams and Marcelino McCrary Ball have been placed on IR per reports. We made a trade with the Tennessee Titans for a cornerback named Jarvis Brownlee Jr. It was a pick swap. We gave them a sixth next year. We got a seventh, so we're giving up draft capital. If you thought Brandon Stevens was bad, wait till you see this guy. We signed linebacker Mark Robinson off of the Patriots practice squad, so we got a practice squad player now on our 53-man roster. And we signed linebacker Ben Neiman to the practice squad. He was just a street free agent. We signed him. And previous to that, of course, we also added defensive back Nick Needham. So you may be saying, okay, the linebacker moves make sense. We need to replace the two linebackers that went on IR. So we found the best we could, and we replaced them. Now, why did we trade for cornerback Jarvis Brownlee Jr., who has an overall grade from PFF of 59, but is good at run defense? Well, it goes back to that quote we've been discussing. Steve Wilks, our defensive coordinator, thinks that you can drive the defensive bus from the back. Now, to me, this seems like maybe perhaps Steve Wilks is a fucking retard, but let's give it a chance. I mean, it's only 3 games in. We've looked horrible. There's been no creativity, no schematic fluidity. It looks like we have no idea what we're doing on defense, either tackling wise, coverage wise, rushing the passer wise, or anything else. A couple of the games we did okay against the run, I guess. But other than that, not so good. Actually, the first game we did good against the run. After that, no bueno. So this defense looks terrible, and now we're giving up draft capital to go get another cornerback when we already have Sauce Gardner, we already have Michael Carter, we already have the $12 million man, Brandon Stevens, the worst cornerback in football last year. We gave $12 million to him. Then we drafted A.Z. Thomas in the third round when we could have drafted edge players, which is actually what we need. And we also have Stickers and Isaiah Oliver as well. So we have all these defensive backs, and we're now trading for another one. Remember, Steve Wilks thinks you drive a defensive bus from the back. And we've seen the player acquisitions this all off season be terrible in terms of the defensive linemen. We did not address edge at all. We got Tyler Barron. He's not any good. We got him in the draft. Nobody wanted him. We traded up for him, giving up draft capital. So we keep giving up draft capital in this, what I'm told by some is a rebuild year, even though the head coach said, no, this is a win now year. But some people think actually he's just said that. Don't worry, it's a rebuild year. But then we're giving up draft capital for people like Jarvis Brownlee, which makes no sense. We just signed Ahmad Gardner to a $32 million contract. We signed Brandon Stevens to a $36 million contract over 3 years, $12 million per. We drafted A.Z. Thomas in the third round. How many cornerbacks do we need? When you have all these other holes like edge, which we never have addressed properly. Now, to his credit, he did acquire a couple of decent defensive tackles at the end of camp, and he should have done it way earlier because now those guys have to assimilate and it takes some time and all of that. But nonetheless, he did do that. Darren Mucci, that is, I'm talking about now. And it's very possible that Darren Mucci is in way over his head. Remember, Darren Mucci is a guy who never even interviewed with any team in the NFL for their general manager position. So he interviews with us, and not only do we interview him, we hire him. So we got a rookie who never even interviewed for a GM job. We got a rookie head coach, and apparently our defensive coordinator is retarded. That's not a good situation. And so I think the fan base is pretty fed up with all this. Now it's 3 games in, and maybe we'll see the big picture come to fruition over the trade deadline. And I don't know. Maybe there's another move coming. Maybe there's another trade. We got to give it some time. Let's give it some time. But as of right now, when you have a defensive coordinator who thinks you can drive the defensive bus from the back, you can't. And who then runs the solid defense basically, but with much worse personnel than Robert Saleh did it, you get the outcome that we're seeing. You know, If you're going to do something different, you're going to take this personnel that we had and going to be in a 3-4 front or run some tight fronts or do something different, creative, run some amoeba fronts, something creative. And then you'd go, oh, okay, that's what they were doing with the roster. I get it. But if you're just going to run the old Robert Saleh 4-3 wide 9, defense, which even Robert Saleh now is admitting in San Francisco he can't run because he's now doing 5-man fronts and all sorts of stuff over there. But they also addressed over in San Francisco, as an example, they got every defensive lineman he could get his hands on, trading for them, drafting them, signing them. Got every single one he could get his hands on. We did not. We said, no, let's get Jarvis Brown Lee and let's draft A.Z. Thomas and let's sign to a big contract, which wipes out a 4th-round comp pick for us. Brandon Stevens, the worst cornerback in the NFL last year because he's a good tackler, just like this Brown Lee fellow. Terrible at everything else, but a good tackler. You can't drive the defensive bus from the back. It's impossible. It doesn't work that way. Everybody's important. You cannot neglect a position like defensive end and then think you're going to have a good defense. You're not. So let's see how it all works out. This is breaking news. But needless to say, as of this moment, I'm not optimistic that these moves make any sense. And I'm starting to get that dreaded feeling. You know what I'm saying? The dreaded feeling of, oh no, the Jets have no idea what they're doing. There's no direction here. They are completely clueless. Now, I'm starting to get that feeling. Let's hope it turns around. Let's hope something unexpected happens. Let's hope for the best. But as of right now, we have Jarvis Brownlee Jr. So let's hope he can do something. All right. See you next time.